Welcome, my peeps, my peoples. Please like, comment, subscribe, share the video. It would be greatly appreciated from the bottom of my heart, my peeps, my peoples. Let's talk about Shameless. God bless her rotten soul. Season 8, episode 3. So the family's having a family meeting. They're at the table talking about the drug dealers that came after Ian and Carl, and basically trying to get some money together, hoping that the drug dealers don't know who they are, where they come from, nor their name, their location, or anything like that. But obviously we know that's not true. So Fiona's coming down the stairs and she's with, Liam, and they're trying to act like they're not, everything's normal, there's nothing going on and all that other good stuff. But she's like, okay, whatever. And then now we have Frank that thinks he's, he wants to name himself Francis and all this other stuff. It's like Frank has dementia. And it's like he always finds a way to escape out of his reality, which when it comes to taking care of his kids, supporting his kids, because he still have, kids under 18, and that is, Carl, Liam, and also Debbie as well. And plus his older kids that he doesn't pay attention to as well. So he always skips in some type of reality so he won't be a father. So now he has 2 jobs. He's finally working and he's still not paying any bills or helping his kids out. But anyways, and so we get to, Fiona. First we get to, Frank never does what he's supposed to do. And we get to Ian. He stops by the youth center. He's trying to get back with, his ex, but he's not able to get back with his ex. His ex is not feeling him at all. And he's actually talking about, like, he's scared of seeing, he's scared of these drug dealers. Like, he's never been worried about drug dealers coming after him before, but for some reason he's feeling kind of eerie about the situation. And his ex tells him that, hey, listen, it's because, sometimes when you go through grief, you feel different emotions, and you're probably finally feeling grief. And that's normal, but it's not normal for anybody to be worried about drug dealers coming after them. That's not like a normal situation. But with Ian, that is a normal situation. But for him to feel guilt and to feel worry and concern is something totally different. And then we also find out at the breakfast table that, what's his name? uh, Frank is so wrong and so low down. He goes, Ian, you always been a drama queen. Even when you came out of your mother's womb, we had to wait for you to detox so you can fully, act like a normal human being or a normal baby. So basically, we know Ian was born with drugs in his system and all that other good stuff. So it probably explains the reason why he has emotional problems and has, suffer from bipolar and things like that, because he was stunted as a baby through drugs. And Frank doesn't see anything wrong with it. He doesn't feel no shame in his game. I'm like, Frank, you are too much. And so Lip, he is, he's talking to his sober coach and things like that. His sober coach was like, yo, you obsess over so many things. It's just unbelievable how much that you obsess over things. So here's a motorcycle, fix this so you can obsess about that, because you obsess about everybody else's life. Because he's obsessed with Ciara, her boyfriend, and the kid and all this other stuff. Like, he's just a prick. Like, so I guess Lip is gonna find something. He's supposed to be obsessing about the motorcycle, but no, he's not gonna obsess about the motorcycle. He's end up going to start to obsess about his professor, basically. And Fiona, she's back at the house, she's back at her apartment, whatever. The mother with all the kids or whatever, the baby kids. She moved out. She was evicted. She smeared shit and thunder cunt all over the wall about Fiona. So hilarious. Marked the walls, put shitty diapers in the oven, did everything possible to tear up that house. That is so wrong. And Fiona knows she can't sue it because she ain't gonna get no money. But my question is why Fiona's showing the goddamn apartment as nasty and shitty as it is. So you can also see where Fiona's not totally taking advantage of her situation, where she should fix up the apartment first before she show it to anybody. At least get the shit off the wall, at least paint the walls before she show it, you know what I mean? And she can probably ask for more than $1,000. She can probably ask for $2,000, but she's still not on that level as being a full manager, whatever. So the tenant Nessa, she's there with her or whatever, and she's talking to her, they're having a good conversation. And then Nessa's girlfriend shows up and was like, yo, listen, I want you to rent to my friends at the gym, this and that. Fiona was like, well, they still got to do a credit check and they've got to be able to pay the deposit or whatever. So, Nessa's girlfriend is not really liking Fiona because she called Fiona her side piece or whatever. So Nessa is going to really be a problem for Fiona and really going to possibly hurt Fiona as a landlord with other tenants, and possibly force Fiona out of the building. And Nessa's girlfriend can also force Nessa to go against Fiona as well, because she's getting to know Fiona and information about Fiona as well. And so we'll see how that situation goes, or we'll see if Fiona hooks up with Nessa, because they're really liking each other. Well, Fiona is just company while she's over there cleaning that dirty ass apartment or whatever. And so she's cleaning the dirty apartment. Lip, he comes in or whatever, and he wants to borrow Fiona's car. And so he borrows Fiona's car to go get his professor. His professor is driving down the street and he's drunk. He's passing out. The pictures are inside on the slideshow, and he rams his car into a house, and the lady just sitting there. He wakes up and he's like, oh my god. So he gets out of Lip is there when he gets out of jail or whatever, and he picks him up, and he got his arm busted, his ribs are busted, his face is all messed up. He is totally messed up. It's just like a damn shame. I'm like, yo, professor, what's going on? And the professor blew a 1.8, and this is his 5th DUI. Like, well, in my city where I live at in Rhode Island, you can have 5 DUIs and still drive. And so it's just like, it's just horrible. And Lip is trying to be there for him, and Lip is looking at his professor like almost like his father in a way, but he doesn't care for Frank like that, or he used to care for Frank like that when he was younger, but he's not going to fall for Frank's trap anymore. But he does listen to Frank kinda a little bit because that's why he went to go set up Sierra's baby's daddy to get him back on drugs. He was listening to Frank. And so seeing Lip there and being vulnerable with his professor and helping him, trying to buy food, trying to clean up for him, trying to get a lawyer for him, is really a good look or whatever. But the thing is his professor right now still doesn't want the help. And then also his professor is like, don't call any attorney. Lip is calling attorneys, and he was like, oh, well, he blew a 1.8. And also he had 5 DUIs. All the attorneys are hanging up on Lip. And the professor's like, I tell you, it's no use. Don't bother. Don't do it. Because the professor already knows no one's going to represent him at all. And it was funny when the professor was in the car with Lip from the jail. He says, I called all my family members, but nobody would answer the phone. And that's just like with Frank. Nobody would answer the phone for Frank. And and then the professor laughs. The professor's talking about he's gonna use his 10-year, lose his job, and all this other stuff. And so basically Lip goes into his house, and he was looking in the refrigerator. There's no food, there's nothing to eat. So Lip wants to go get him food, get him something to eat and things like that. But he does, and the professor's eating like an animal. Lip, he goes and pick up a bottle. He's broken, he's bruised, but he still got to get that alcohol. And so he goes to get the alcohol bottle. And Lip opens it for him. He sips alcohol with a straw straight. Like, yo, he's a straight alky. I'm like, yo. And so he does that and everything. And it's just like, oh, my God. And so Lip comes back to the house or whatever, and the professor's laying on the floor and vomit. Lip basically saved his life because he probably would have died, and he's hurting. And so Lip is telling him, hey, you need sobriety. Only thing that's going to get you out the situation if you get an attorney or you go to rehab in his head. So he tells his teacher, his professor, that, hey, what about sobriety? I've been sober, this and that. I thought Lip was going to slip when he opened that bottle for his professor, but he didn't. So I'm glad Lip didn't slip. And so the professor said, what, I'm not going to go to prison. I'm about to die. I got broken ribs. I got broken arm. I don't even know how I'm going to wipe my ass and all this other stuff. And I got to take a shit and all these other different things and take a bath. So miss me with that sobriety. Piss off on that sobriety. So Lip is upset. He runs out the house. I think Lip feels disappointed, like he felt with Frank, thinking that helping Frank and being there for Frank was going to make Frank listen to him or respect him, or go the golden or the good route. And the professor doesn't. So Lip goes run to his sobriety coach or whatever. And sobriety coach was like, you think I like listen to you? You think I like listen to your problems? I don't, or whatever. And he was like, but you can't keep this good secret, and what happened to and what you're doing now away from somebody else. And Lip is like, why do I feel guilty? And his professor said, you feel guilty because you really care that this man helped you out once upon a time. He put you in rehab. He helped you be his teacher assistant. So this professor has done a lot. And he was like, but it's really nothing. And his sobriety coach says it's not that he can buy this, he can buy that, he can do all these wonderful things, but actually helping a human being and watching it grow is something that you can't buy. Something that is so wonderful and amazement to help somebody else out of their situation to get to where they need to go. And so basically he's just saying, Lip, the same way I helped you helped this dude. Because Lip believes that there is no way that his ex-professor is going to get clean. And he was like, well, people said that about us, so Lip is going to go help his professor. But in the meantime, Carl is getting drowned in his pool because the drug dealers has found out where they live at. Ian, he runs with a bat. He beats one of them out with a bat. Then he ends up getting a gun pulled on him. And the drug dealers threaten to kill them, hurt them, if he doesn't get his drugs back in 24 hours. And he'll get little Debbie, little Liam, and Fiona. So they better come with the money. And so it's like, damn, I knew they was gonna catch up to him. It would be only normal for them to catch up to them. And there was like, there's no way Monica would lose $70,000 worth of meth. That's no way that's gonna happen. So it just seems like, damn. It's like they're always getting to something. Now you got Frank thinking that he is a saint. Frank is just crazy. I think it's all the drugs, it's all the abuse. And Frank is very creative, so he can actually create these worlds that he makes himself part of, because he was like, Frank's been in different camps, different religions over the time, and he just escaped from his reality. So that's where he's at now. And he wouldn't even bother helping Fiona using his discount card because for some reason he feels like he's a saint and all that other stuff. But Frank is also feeling guilt too as well. So we're learning that, Ian and Lip and Frank are actually feeling guilt. They're actually having more emotions about things because they're actually maturing. Some things are working out good for them and things are going well. They're all in a safer place than they was before. Not until the 70 grand come back to having drug dealers chase after them and things like that is to owe them. And actually, Carl selling the drugs because, Carl was in military school and all this other stuff. But they actually feel an emotion of guilt. And that's something they never really felt, was guilt about anything. They did what they did and kept it moving. It was a part of life. And so we have, Kev, he's going around feeling on people's breasts, looking at people's breasts, basically Fiona. And he's so obsessed with like breasts. He's so obsessed with genes and where his kids come from. He meets up with the doctor. The doctors let him know that he's an inbred from Kentucky, from somewhere in Kentucky, Huntsville. Basically he's from a bunch of Neanderthals. That's basically where he's from, an inbred. He was like, inbred, huh? And V is like, damn, I married an inbred. But also, Kev and V are suffering right now because there's no money coming into the bar as usual. Kev and V are not good managers of the bar and actually ever had really good money coming in. Only person that was able to do that was Spinlana. No matter what, she's able to bring money into that bar. But Kev and V are not able to do that. It is what it is. And Lip really can't believe that his professor has 5 DUIs. And he was like, and Lip says to his professor, how did you get 5 DUIs? And he was like, listen, Lip, when you get 60 years old, you tell me how I got 5 DUIs. Basically, you haven't lived long enough to judge me. Basically, that's what the professor's saying, because he could have got one at 19, he could have got one at 20, 30, 40. He could have got one each year in some type of century or whatever. So it is what it is. But 5 DUIs, So they got 24 hours to get this meth, and they don't want to tell Fiona, and so they all meet up at the house. And then poor Debbie, she meets up with her coworkers. Her coworkers like, you got Lakeisha, you got the nurse over there with your husband giving him a sponge bath. She gonna steal your man. But this is where Debbie is still young and still naive, where you don't let no other woman come in and give your man a sponge bath, especially if you're financially dependent on him and you have a shelter because of him, and you might not be old enough to get shelter yourself, because I don't think Debbie is 18 yet. And she has a child, so she would need a co-signer for the apartment and all the kind of other shit. But basically, can't she won't be able to move in Fiona's house because she won't be able to afford the rent. So, but maybe, who knows? So, anyways, Debbie wants home to check on Neil. Neil and the, CNA are already doing it while they're doing it. Neil was like, yo, a horrible person. I don't want to be with you no more. And Debbie just realized, damn, I done messed up. And so it's over. So now, Deb got to find a place to stay. Where she's going to live with this baby. She needs really good shelter. I don't know if DCYF is going to allow her to move in. Think it's a safe place for her to move back home with her brothers and sisters, or is the grandmother going to come in and try to swoop the baby, or Debbie going to stay with the grandmother, or is Debbie going to try to get Neil back? Is this the end of Neil? Because, I don't think Debbie loves Neil, but, it was shelter and safety and the babysitter as well. Plus, it was a safe place. There's no drugs going on and things like that. And plus, she didn't have to have sex with Neil. And so now, but she gets the phone call where she got to run home, Gallagher's family meeting, and basically they're all there, and they're Frank shows up. He's no help as usual. So they all talk about they need to get this 70 grand and 24 hours and all this other stuff. Ian and Carl did a search on the criminals or Monica's peoples, and they know that they got some real drug dealers, some real killers. But Carl knows some killers. He knows some real drug dealers, but they don't got money to pay that. And they're basically trying to change over a new leaf. That's why they feel the guilt. And so now they all have to go talk to Fiona, basically. And they go talk to Fiona. But before that, Fiona, she was going to have this guy rent the apartment or whatever, and he was going to pay her $1,000. But the Nessa's girlfriend, one of the lesbians or whatever, is stopping that, told the guy that there's bed bugs, there's this, there's that. So basically, he's not going to rent the apartment because she wants her people to come in and rent the apartment. And then they come and look at the apartment. I was like, oh, it smells like shit. There was shitty diapers inside, the oven. And basically, they're trying to low blow Fiona. I said Fiona. My cousin's name is Fiona. And so basically they're trying to low blow Fiona and, do her in like shit and tell her that. And then, the girl that's doing the IVF treatment is all like, that dude that's supposed to pay, he ain't gonna pay. He ain't coming. And so I'm like, bitch. And so, her friends are looking over the apartment talking about, we'll pay you $500, we'll pay you $600, we'll pay you whatever the hell we want to pay you. So I hope Fiona does not rent to them at all, because it seems like it might be a little takeover, because homegirl is jealous that Nessa spends time with Fiona, and she's going to come up with a plot or some type of situation where Nessa's going to have to choose between Fiona and her, basically. And most likely she's probably going to pick the girlfriend, because she like masochists. She likes to be abused. She likes people that cause drama and situations. So Fiona's getting herself wrapped up and tangled into this drama with, Nessa hanging around her, because Nessa told her what kind of girlfriend that she has. And Nessa likes that type of drama, so they might turn on Fiona and lock her out of her own building. Who knows? So we'll see what happens with that situation. So all the brothers and sisters, they get together to go meet up with Fiona and ask Fiona, what did she do with her 2 bags of meth? But before they can get the answer, they have to apologize to Fiona, tell Fiona that she's right. So Fiona's back in the position that she was back in season 1, season 2, and 3, where like she's a safety net. She's the smartest. She keeps up with the business, and she takes care of the family. She's the only one they can really trust and rely on, even though she made some mistakes. Now she's back in that prime position that she was back then, when we was like, Fiona's everything. Like, she takes care of brothers, sisters, feed them food, take care of the bills, hustle, does all that other good stuff. She's back in that position where they're all begging for her help and assistance. And Frank comes through. Frank comes through with Liam. Guess what? Frank knows where all his kids be at. He's a saint, all right. So Frank is all just like, I feel guilt. I know what the feeling is, guilt. Oh my God, Frank feeling guilt is just like crazy. So I'm guessing this is the last season, because Frank feeling guilt is like, OMG. Out of all of the Gallaghers, he should feel guilty. And so now they're going to go dig up Monica's body and get the 2 bags of meth. But they're still going to be short. So we'll see what happens. Peace. I'm out. One love to all my peeps and peoples. So out of, Ian and, Lip, who's the strongest? Like the strongest as far as like fighting and stick up for each other. First, I go back and forth like which one of the Gallaghers would you want like in a fantasy world to have protect you or be there in a fight when you're in a fight? I don't know. I see Liam do Lip do good, and I've seen Ian just go buck shit crazy. And we know that Carl, he's only tough with his burners. So what do you think? Anyways, peace. I'm out. One love.